Please be seated. Wow. Good afternoon, graduates, family, friends, faculty, and distinguished guests. I'm Bob Englander, the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, and I am delighted to serve as your MC today. What a glorious Minnesota spring day for this important celebration. Now, I should say I knew that word glorious was in the script, and I've now been in Minnesota for 3 years, and I thought, what would make me change that name when I woke up and it was 33 degrees? But here we are, 60 degrees on a gorgeous spring day in Minnesota. This ceremony honors the great achievements of our graduates and marks their beginning as a new generation of physicians to meet the needs of Minnesota and beyond. 4 more years ago, they were admitted with the promise of outstanding academic and humanistic qualities. Today, we are proud to say that these students have fulfilled and exceeded our expectations. I hope, graduates, as this special day unfolds, you will take the opportunity to reflect on your time here. Reflect on the many patients who gave you the gift of participating in their care for your mutual benefit. On those peers, faculty, and other health professionals whose actions you want to emulate as you move into the next phase of your journey. And on the family and friends who are here, and even those who could not be here, but were part of this important support network that got you to this day. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the Medical School and Vice President for Clinical Affairs, Jacob Tolar.
Congratulations! This is a good day! It doesn't say glorious over here, but anyway. No one gets here without a tremendous commitment, hard work, greatness of heart. I'm so proud of you. You really did it. And you have heard me say often that I think we are like guests, like good guests. We are here to make our medical school better, a little cleaner, a little better organized, a little kinder, perhaps. And that's why, while we are so proud of transmitting knowledge that we have inherited from centuries and millennia before, we also are here to transmit values, core values. And that's why you are not just a collection of skills that should be maximized, optimized. You are a collective character of service to others, of help to others in need. And you have made this medical school better. And I am deeply grateful to you for that. You have spoken up and said, this works, this doesn't. We listened to you and we changed the content. We changed hours. We have gone with you, because of you, on a path of genuine well-being, flourishing of a human mind, and a truly permissive system where you can grow personally, professionally, and I thank you for that. This is really meaningful, I hope, to you. It's certainly meaningful to us, because you have done this in a selfless way, because only a fraction of what you have told us to do and we did is going to impact you. Most of it will impact the classes that come after you. That's why you are making this medical school, your medical school, better. And because you've done this, I have no doubt that when you go out to the world, you will make that a better place as well. And as you do that, I'm going to give you few bits of advice. And I can do this because you cannot go anywhere until we are done here. So the first one is widen your horizon of risk. It has to do with the narrowing way as we get more and more specialized, looking at other things. And I would say that widening that aperture of your mind will bring some failures, and nobody likes failures, but they are important because we all know that we have been defined more by things that were hard than things that were easy. And plus, you have something unique, something very few people will be given. The privilege of being a part of the life of your patients. And as our patients go through what I'd call seasons of suffering, they emerged not always healed, not always better, but different. They have a almost stomach level essence that in my personal life has been like a directive. And I and you can use that opportunity to learn how we live our own lives because of the examples of our patients. The second one, listen. Listen to your life. Listen to every moment of it. Be compassionate to yourselves. So the same measure of compassion, the same calling, the same vocation that brought you here in a way that looks at medicine as one of the most rewarding professions I know, but also one of the most difficult. Turn that compassion on yourself as well, and with the equal intensity that you give to your patients, give yourselves the compassion and care. The third, make time for joy. When I say joy, this is different than happiness. Happiness is this quick dopamine lift you get with good score on the exam. Joy is different. Joy is long-lasting, long life commitment, long relationship to profession, to people, to themes. And it's different for all of us. It is, for some, it would be visiting a friend. For others, it's a 5-mile run. It can be taking your child to a park, or in my case, a grandchild to a park. Listening to music. Everybody has different, but, Ode to Joy comes like a good example of that. Speaking of joy, I am delighted that former Governor Dayton is here today with us, and that he will speak and also see a graduate. He has been one of the most passionate and most visionary supporters of this university and this medical school. He has put together Blue Ribbon Commission in 2014 that led to a disciplined way of connecting our land-grant mission to the needs of the community. And what emerged from this were medical discovery teams. And we focused on aging, we focused on brain knowledge, we focused on Native American and rural health, we focused on opioids. And that reminds me that not only I'm a deep admirer of the governor, he's a disciplined visionary. He's somebody who has the ideals and a discipline to put them in action. But also it reminds me of the gravity of the task that's in front of us. In 2018, the CDC, for the third year in a row, reported that the average lifespan of average American is shortening. Unless you are horrified, you should be. The last time this happened in this continent, in this United States, was in 1915 through 1918. And as you will recall, this is the years of the First World War, the big war before we had the second one. And in the wake of it, of a Spanish flu epidemic. So the legacy of this governor is yours, is ours, and it's a tremendous responsibility going forward. So on behalf of the medical school, I wish you the very best. I'd like you to take care of yourselves with the same compassion and care you provide to your patients. I hope that you will stay in touch. We are very proud of the legacy of this medical school. And now, the future is yours, and I'm eager to see what you're going to do with it. Thank you. And now it's my honor to introduce to you the Senior Vice President of the University and the Treasurer of the University, the one and only Brian Burnett.
Good afternoon, everyone. Another lesson, don't follow and act like that in the program. On behalf of University President Eric Kaler, Provost Karen Hansen, I bring you warm greetings and congratulations on behalf of the senior leaders of the University of Minnesota. We are very proud to have one of our nation's very best medical schools among our community of scholars, researchers, clinicians, and staff across the 5 campuses of the Minnesota's land-grant university. We are here to celebrate your hard work, your dedication to your learning, and wish you the best in continued service to others as healers and our next generation of medical doctors. I'd also like to thank and celebrate the leadership, faculty, and staff of our medical school for their tireless work in preparing our graduates for the challenges ahead in practicing medicine across Minnesota and across our world. As a former president of my alma mater noted, the university is not the campus, it's not the buildings on the campus, not the faculties, not the students of any one class, not one of these or all of them. The university consists of all who come into and go forth from her halls, who are touched by her influence and who carry on her spirit. Wherever you go, the university goes with you. Wherever you are at work, there is the university at work. Thus, in this vein, we are honored to have you represent this university in your chosen field of medicine. We wish you the very best as you take this important step today in your career. We also congratulate and celebrate with the friends, families, and loved ones of each of our graduates. Few people have any significant accomplishments in their lives without strong support of others. Again, congratulations to all of our graduates. We are proud to have you from this day forward as alumni of the University of Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Drs. Burnett and Tolar, for your inspirational words. So, I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge the members of the administration and the guests that are on stage today. As you already know, our distinguished participants include the Dean of the Medical School and the Vice President for Finance and Operations for the university. In addition, I'm surrounded today by the Dean of our Duluth campus, Paula Termeulen, as well as the Vice, Associate, and Assistant Deans of the Medical School, a member of the class of 1969 who will address you, honored faculty that were requested by you, the students, to participate in this celebration, a member of the Board of Regents who will confer the degrees, a very important part of the day, and the speaker that you all invited to address you, former Governor of Minnesota, Mark Dayton. I also want to take a moment to recognize the medical school faculty in the audience. I will ask you to please stand if you are able, and let's give them a round of applause to acknowledge their incredible contributions to this graduating class. Thank you. We also have a wonderful tradition of a faculty advisor program here who work with the students throughout their time with us to try to ultimately help them find the best journey and path for their careers. So I'd like to ask any faculty advisors who are in the audience today to please stand if you are able, and let's give them a round of applause. The next group that I'd like to recognize are the group that you all are going to become in about 3 hours. Those are the alumni who are present today. So if you're an alum of the University of Minnesota Medical School, can you please stand if you are able so that we can acknowledge your contributions to the medical school? And now I'd like to ask our graduates to stand if you are able, to look around this room, and to recognize the contributions made by your parents, your spouses, your partners, your siblings, your friends, and your mentors to your education. If you'll all stand and give the round of applause to all who've supported you in this endeavor. Thank you. I'm always struck as we do the thank yous by the notion of the village that it takes to make a doctor. And so think today about all of the many people who have contributed to this point in your journey. Now what I'd like to do is to introduce Dr. Ann Pereira. Ann is our Assistant Dean for Curriculum, and Ann will acknowledge our dual degree recipients and awardees.
All of our graduates have intellectual and humanistic gifts, and all have successfully navigated rigorous and intensive challenges of medical school. Some graduates have earned additional honors and awards by making special contributions during medical school. Among these are the students elected to the Alpha Omega Alpha Medical Honor Society and students elected to the Gold Humanism Honor Society. The names of these students are listed in your program. Those of you who have received such an honor, please stand if you are able to be recognized for your extraordinary work. All of our graduates have fulfilled the requirements for the Doctor of Medicine degree. A number of graduates have also completed dual degrees of MD, MPH, MD, MS, MD, JD, and MD, MBA programs. Their names, thesis titles, and advisors are also listed in your program. Students with dual degrees, as I named, please stand if you are able and remain standing as I read your names. I ask the audience to please hold applause until all names have been read. Allison Key completed a combined MD, JD program. The following students have completed a combined MD, MBA program. Brendan O'Gorman and Stephen Palmquist. The following students have completed a combined MD, MPH program. Stephanie Pickthorn and Michael Rose. The following students have completed a combined MD, MS program. Michael Tradewell and Susan Sun. One student has earned a combined MD, PhD during their medical education in our medical scientist training program. Matthew Wheelwright completed his PhD work in the Integrative Biology and Physiology graduate program. Please join me in congratulating these dual recipients.
Thank you, Anne. Each year, we invite, in a tradition that I think is so special at the University of Minnesota, we invite a graduate from the class 50 years ago to address our new graduates. So I just want to say to all of you, it's not too soon for you to begin thinking about your speech for 2069. It's my pleasure today to introduce Dr. Jane Ryman, a representative from the class of 1969, to address the class of 2019.
Thank you, Dr. Englander, and good afternoon, graduates, faculty, family, and friends. Greetings and congratulations to you on behalf of the alumni of the University of Minnesota Medical School, and special greetings from my class, the medical school class of 1969, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of our graduation. My personal history with the University of Minnesota Medical School goes back several generations. In fact, one of my great-grandfathers, Olaf Svensson, an immigrant from Sweden, was a building contractor who, in the early 20th century, built Millard Hall, which has been torn down in 1999 to make way for new construction. Olaf's son-in-law, my grandfather, Edward Ostergren, graduated from the medical school in 1909, and my mother, Eva Jane Ostergren Larson, graduated from medical school in 1939, and her younger sister graduated in 1945. I was the first of the next generation in 1969, but my brother and two cousins followed in the line. Oh yes, and my father, Bert R. Larson, graduated from the University of Minnesota Dental School in 1937. You may or may not be surprised that my class had about 5% women, but it may surprise you to hear that both my mother's and my grandfather's classes each also had 5% women. In 1969, as now, we had wonderful teachers and mentors in the medical school. That era was, in many ways, one of turmoil, with the assassinations of Dr. Martin Luther King and of Robert Kennedy near the end of our time in school, and with the Vietnam War and demonstrations against it always in the news. That era did, however, produce some really great rock music. You are a new generation, and each generation has its own joys and challenges and its own music. This day celebrates you, the medical school class of 2019. Some of you in the class of 2019 may have a long history with the University of Minnesota, as I do, and some of you may be new to the university, or you might be the first ever in your family to attend a university. Your personal stories are varied and unique. You have been together as a class for the past 4 years, and soon you will be traveling different paths. Even on different paths, there are some things that are common to your forebears in medicine, to your teachers, and to you. You have strength of character and a sense of compassion. You care for your fellow human beings. You desire to heal them, to ease their pain, and to comfort them. This is why you are here, and this is what will carry you through the exciting and challenging years to come. Congratulations to you all.
And now it is really an honor for me to introduce our speaker, invited by you, the class of 2019, to address you today. Former Governor Mark Dayton served as Minnesota's 40th governor from 2011 to 2019. He was born in Minneapolis in January of 1947 and grew up in Long Lake, Minnesota. He graduated from Blake School, where he was an all-state hockey goalie, and graduated cum laude from Yale University. After college, he taught 9th grade general science in a New York public school. Over the past 44 years, Governor Dayton has served Minnesotans as Commissioner of Economic Development, as State Auditor, United States Senator, and then Governor, and has committed himself to improving social equality and economic opportunity for all Minnesotans. I also want to personally thank Governor Dayton for his unwavering support and role in getting the funding for our eagerly anticipated Health Sciences Education Center. It is my humble honor to introduce Governor Mark Dayton.
Thank you very much, and thank you for graduates for inviting me to share this very special day with you and your families and your friends. 4 months after leaving office, I'm thankful to be invited anywhere. It doesn't take long after public life to fade into oblivion. In 1983, a few months after my first bid for the U.S. Senate, I was walking past a 5th grade class at the state capitol. One student looked at me, looked again, and said, "Didn't you used to be Mark Dayton?" I'm especially honored to be invited to your medical school because your success was so important to me throughout my 8 years as governor. Repeatedly, I made clear to the university's administration that while I considered all of its programs to be deserving of increased state support, my top priority, my number one priority, was the medical school, both your operating budget and your capital investments. And I'm pleased to say that we increased funding in both those areas, including the new Health Sciences Education Center and the medical discovery teams. Although I'm disappointed to learn that I was never asked to provide funding for the salsa dance class. My support for your medical school stemmed from my certainty that healthcare will be a cornerstone of our state's future social and economic vitality. Medical education, new technologies and applications, basic and applied research, and the very best medical treatments and services are all areas where Minnesota is preeminent today and can become even more so in the years ahead. And this school is absolutely key to our state's success in all of those areas. I once applied to medical school here way back in 1968, but fortunately for the integrity of the medical profession, I changed my mind and withdrew all my applications. I had set my sights on becoming a doctor several years before. When I was 15 years old, I got a summer job working as an orderly in the emergency room of the old Abbott Hospital. Back then, Abbott's emergency room was a small facility, used primarily for minor surgeries under local anesthesia. I loved the job. For starters, I had to be at work by 6:45 a.m., which meant I was up and gone from my house before anyone else in my family awoke. So every morning, I could enjoy my favorite breakfast, chocolate ice cream and Coca-Cola. Thus, properly fortified, I was ready for whatever. On my third day working in the emergency room, whatever erupted. An 8-year-old boy was brought in by his parents with a very high fever. Within minutes, he died. I don't remember what his illness was. What I will never forget is after his parents and doctors left, the head nurse and I prepared him for transport to the morgue. As I cared for this lifeless little body, I realized profoundly that medicine was about life and death. If that experience and the two during the following 2 summers as an orderly in Abbott's surgical unit only strengthened my desire to become a doctor. Why else would I go from my college biology lab to hockey practice with my hands reeking of formaldehyde? The summer between my junior and senior years of college, I worked as an orderly on the acute psychotic ward at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. in New York City. It was fascinating. Later, I realized that dealing with people in states of psychosis was good preparation for the U.S. Senate. The difference being that one was a locked ward while the other one you could come and go. Despite my interest and preparation, I decided that fall to withdraw my medical school applications. I'd become active in the anti-Vietnam War movement, and I didn't feel ready to make a permanent career commitment. But my experiences gave me the greatest respect and admiration for the exceptional dedication that modern medicine requires of the women and men who practice it. To all of you who are undertaking those enormous responsibilities for others' lives, health, and infirmities, I salute you and I thank you. Our society has not made it easy for you to become doctors. In fact, we have let it become shamefully difficult. Estimates are that it costs on average over $300,000 to obtain a medical degree, and the average graduate is left with a debt of over $170,000. Then you have to choose between the finances of being a primary care doctor in Bemidji or a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. My older generation is shamefully hypocritical when it comes to financial support for all of higher education. We tell your generation that an advanced degree is important, which it is, that will benefit you and society, which it will. But we're not going to do much to help you pay for it. Nevertheless, we expect you to work hard for the next 40 years and make all of your Medicare and Social Security payments so my generation can live our final years in the style to which we want to remain accustomed. Soon I think your generation is going to tell mine to go get yourself a loan. The price tag for medical education is just part of the enormously high cost of health care in our country. Last year, Americans spent a total of $3.65 trillion, $3.65 trillion on health care, which is over 18% of our country's gross domestic product. Under current law, CMS projects that national health care expenditures will reach nearly $6 trillion by the year 2027. The past 25 years have seen an enormous increase in the array of health care services and the public's demand for them. Just think of all the medical procedures you perform every day and all the technology you use, and then reflect on how much of it was not available 25 years ago or in decades before. Back then, people got old, sick, or injured, and they died. The total cost of medical care was capped by the limits of medical knowledge, which limited the treatments and the services that could be provided. Now, the number of diagnostic tests, treatment options, and pharmaceutical relief is enormous, ever growing, and usually more expensive. To exacerbate the challenges of cost containment, our country's population is becoming decidedly older. Last year, there were almost 50,000 Americans above the age of 65. In 40 years, that number is expected to more than double. Historically, a more elderly population has needed more medical care, which has been provided at ever-increasing costs. For this reason alone, I think it's unrealistic to believe that we will be able to reduce our nation's total expenditures for health care. What we must do instead is to find and use every possible means to reduce or even eliminate some costs so that we can lower the overall increase. The exorbitant prices for many prescription drugs are lambasted by politicians, some of whom are shamefully duplicitous in doing so. I was serving in the U.S. Senate in 2003 when Congress opened the floodgates on consumer drug prices. The Senate and House had passed their differing versions of the Medicare Part D bill, which greatly expanded federal prescription drug coverage. A group of senators and House members, comprising what's called a conference committee, met behind closed doors to reconcile those differences. However, the single bill, which which emerged from that back room, contained provisions that had not been in either of the original House or Senate versions. One prohibited CMS or any other federal agency from negotiating lower prescription drug costs. They had to pay the full amounts of whatever prices the drug companies, insurance companies, or prescription plans submitted to them. Now, no one would think of prohibiting the U.S. Department of Defense from negotiating a lower price for a B-1 bomber, or transportation from reducing the cost of a new highway. But a majority of the members of that Congress sanctioned the uncontrolled profiteering of the powerful pharmaceutical industry, and subsequent Congresses have refused to revoke it. As a result, the American people have for years been forced to pay more than almost anywhere else in the world for exactly the same products. And Congress, at the behest of those drug lords, has also prohibited folks from filling their prescriptions overseas at much lower prices. This is one egregious example of how powerful special interests invade our healthcare system to increase their profits at everyone else's expense. There's no single answer to controlling the rising cost of healthcare for all Americans, but the problem will only get worse until we all act to make it better. And many of the necessary changes will need to come from your generation of physicians and other healthcare providers who see every day ways the quality of care could be improved while lowering costs. But those reforms only happen over the fervent opposition of those who want to use America's health needs for their benefit. When I was governor, my then chief of staff, Tina Smith, said that she and I made a good team because she always looked at the bright side of situations while I always looked at the dark side. I have focused my attention on the problems and flaws in our nation's healthcare system. But you, with your world-class medical education, skills, and training, provide our system's overriding virtues. What an exciting time to be delivering the best in the world medical services. Every day, you will do more than ever before possible to save lives, restore lives, and improve lives. You will perform miracles every day that previously could only be imagined. You've worked hard to develop the skills to deliver those miracles. May you never lose sight of how incredible they are, or forget how priceless they are to your patients. What an exciting career you have selected. You could never have chosen any better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Governor Dayton, for your inspiring words. It is now my honor to introduce Regent Linda Cohen, who will confer the degrees. Graduates, please rise.
As I was leaving my house today, my husband said, "Well, have fun. You're going to the medical school commencement." And he said it was 69 years ago that he was in your spot and that he got his medical degree. So the medical school has a special affection for me. And so on behalf of the faculty of the University of Minnesota Medical School, Twin Cities and Duluth campuses, I am honored to present to you the graduating class of 2019, attesting thereby to their competence and indicating that they have successfully fulfilled all the requirements established by this faculty and the laws of the state of Minnesota to be granted the degree Doctor of Medicine. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the Board of Regents, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine for which you have qualified. Congratulations.
Thank you, Regent Cohen. You may now be seated, but I don't want this moment to slip. I can now say safely, congratulations, doctors. We will now begin the presentation of the class of 2019. I would like to introduce Deans Jacob Toller again and Paula Termulin, who will head the class to my right as they're getting ready. Those reading the names of the graduates will be Dr. Kevin Diebel, Dr. Michael Kim, Dr. Robin Michaels, Ms. Dimple Patel, Dr. Ann Pereira, and Dr. Claudio Violato, whose names are all in your programs. Greeting the students on my left will be Dr. Andrew Olson and Dr. Jennifer Pearson, who have had the great honor of being selected by this year's class as their greeters. Here's the hard part. I'm going to ask you to hold the applause until the end, and then we'll go crazy on all of them.
Nurman Abdel Wahab, Ryan Aberly, Caitlin Marie Adams, Abdimalik Ahmed, Hannah Aho, Melissa Albersheim, Aaron Anderson, Nolan Anderson, Samira Asker, Jolynn Azure, Diana Back, Natasha Bailey, Catherine Bartz, Kristen Boschtu, Tarian Garth Baynard, Maria Benning, Janai Barucha, Ariel Blythe Reski,
Michael Borner, Joshua Brandon, Beatrice Arlene Brumley, Cassandra Burt, Rachel Busco, Justin Patrick Campana, Grant Carlisle, Krista Carlson. Gregory Challoner. Claire Elizabeth Chapuis. Alex Charbonneau. River Charles. Hannah Marie Christensen. Irina Sitch. Mitchell Cleghorn. Donna Katsia. Jonathan Colin Rizzo.
Lindsay Collier. Alexander Coombs. Sophia Dar. Emily Blaylock Foster Davis. Akash Deshpande. Jessica Diaz. Alexander DiBartolomeo. Michael Downey. Catherine Margaret Eamon. Stefan Eldy. Elizabeth Fairbairn. Michael Farrell. Farzan Fatemi. James Flannery. Catherine Grace Flinchbaugh. Ashley Ray Forstrom. Ryan Fox. Castrenzi Furcano.
Elena Carolina Fry Naharo. Cordell Fewer. Anne Louise Gare. Abdul Rahman Gamam. Robert Gao. Samantha Gardine. McKinnon Garrett. Ying Gibbons. Allison Glowecki. Matthew Godlewski. Jill Marie Gablovich. Christopher Goodnow. Gracie Gorman. Shelby Lynn Graff. Ashley Green. Anna Celerina Gonzalez Griffin. Madeline Grossland Sather. Lisa Gruntner.
Josh Gutierrez. Lucas Haas. Anthony Hacker. Daniel Heron. Benjamin Harris. Becky Hartman. Jonathan Hawkinson. Chloe Hedberg. Seth Heikala. Burton Hendrickson. Elena Hinsela Fronten. Mary Huang. Christopher Douglas Hughes. Kyle Hunt. Rachel Husman. Salman Akramadin. Hannah Irvin. Matthew Jurgensen.
Audrey Chiang. Maya Johnson. Naomi Johnson. Matthew Johnston. Keaton Jopru. Joseph Jude. Jordan Kaiser. Emily Karp. Raquel K. Joshen Key. Sarah Kemp. Allison Key. Matthew Kerr. Theodore Klimek. Samuel Klinker. Derek Colhase. Tyler Kunst. Anna Krieger.
Emily Ann Kwasniewska Fredrickson. Christina Lee. Pablo Leitzman. Laura Lou Lotka. Carl Robert Leby. August William Linsmark. Ann Lips. Corey Thomas Limburner. Caitlin Madigan. Allison Ray McCarter. Megan McElreath. Gannon McGrath. Joseph Menego. Terrell Edward Messerly. Robert Mills III. Emma Model. Kyle Muckenhern. Faith Myers.
Hannah Nedrod. Daniel Rupert Narin. Joseph Novak. Marley Irene Novak. Kevin Merlin O'Donnell. Brendan Patrick O'Gorman. Lisa Obasi. Isaac Obermeyer. Cassandra Olson. Rose McKeon Olson. Luis Martin Ortega. Creed Ott. Stephen John Palmquist. Ali Panning. Mary Park. Andrew Paddock. Jonah Pearson. Acadia Pachower.
Nicholas Peterson. Haitin Fu. Stephanie Ann Pickthorn. Elizabeth Straube Pickup. Nicholas Petrini. Courtney Lim Plemmel. Laura Pulido Peña. Nicholas Russell Quam. Shrikar S. Rajgopal. Matthew Rasmussen. Lauren Regan. Jonathan Earl Christian Reed. Michael Richter. Sarah Ringstrom. Jonathan Michael Roberts. Jeffrey Roberts. Michael Rose. David Rosenthal.
Mishi Roy. Amritpal Saini. Alexandra Sauer. Andre Scarlato. Terry Robert Shade Jr. Marianne Sheedle. Gina Noel Schluter. Matthew James Seitzer. Paige Julianne Lee Selvey. Kale Siebert. Elizabeth Smith. Rachel Spies. Rebecca Spur. Benjamin Richard Stanghill. Shanley Stevens. Mackenzie Diekman Stice. Mark Stice. Andrew Stone.
Jennifer Stong. Jessica Stowe. Maggie Strampy. Maddie Lynn Strub. Megan Sulsener. Susan Sun. Linnea Swanson. Alexis Josephine Swenson. Sarah Swenson. Grace Marie Tabatabai. Kelsey Linnea Thone. Nicole Thorndal. Vincent Tran. Ween Trung. Did I miss somebody? No. Sorry, Elena, you are not on my list. I apologize. Elena Tofty. Kabao Vang. Jennifer Ann Vasco. Mackenzie Justine Veldezen.
Alex Vo. Daniel Volovets. Leda Bulgaropoulos. Nushi Vu. Jordan Walter. Lauren Ward. Christina Warner. Madison Waig. Garrett Welly. Daniel Wells. Kristen Westenfield. Matthew Wheelwright. Georgiana Whiteley. Angela Wipf. Samantha Wita. Mai Kao Yang. Amy Chung. Andrew Chung.
Ladies and gentlemen, that represents the doctors of the class of 2019. Quite an accomplishment. What I'd like to do now is to introduce Dr. Ryan Aberle, President of the Class of 2019, and Dr. Sarah Kemp, Student Council President, who will give the class response.
Oh boy. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm the Executive President of Student Council, and I have the distinct honor, which to my knowledge has never happened before, of giving this address with someone very special, my dad.
No. That's not true. Sarah, I've met your parents. They're lovely people. I'm sure they're in the audience today. Let's not start any scandals. I'm Ryan, and while I'm not Sarah's dad, I am the president of our class. My wife and I may have occasionally, jokingly introduced Sarah as our daughter. Well, a couple of times. It was at a bar, so I don't really remember.
He's old. Anyway, we have to begin by saying we are so grateful for the opportunity to give the class response and reflect on our time in medical school.
Yep, and in true medical school style, I want you to strap in for a 50-minute lecture. I brought along some PowerPoint slides I last updated about 15 years ago. And I looked at them last year for a brief 15 minutes.
And as an added treat, they are all in Comic Sans.
It's easy to poke fun at our lectures because we have had so many over the course of 4 years. But on a serious note, we are grateful to every one of our lecturers.
So in order to keep this short and sweet, we decided we needed some structure. Together, we present
the top 10 things we learned in medical school. Number 10, the Step 1 rumors are true.
It is just as terrible as all the medical students who went before us have indicated.
Yep. And no matter how many times we organized our sock drawers or did other important tasks to delay the inevitable, we still had that sword hanging over us until it was done.
And we are so excited that we never have to do that again.
Until step 3.
Number 9, there is a ton of information we have been forced to cram into our heads that is no longer useful.
Oh yeah, like the Krebs cycle.
And the lac operon.
Oh, alternative splicing.
The specific order of proteins involved in DNA replication.
Well, what about which histological stain to use with which tissue?
And the comforting thought, this is just all the stuff that we can remember that we've forgotten.
Number 8, in the Twin Cities at least, we mastered the skill of listening to lectures at faster than normal speech.
Seriously, my ability to listen at a normal speed has been permanently altered.
Duluth, the problem isn't a problem you experienced, apparently. It turns out you guys actually went to class.
Oh, sorry, I know you were talking. It just was so slow, I tuned out of it.
Number 7, during our first couple of years, we learned that there are a ton of rare and obscure diseases.
And even though I thought I had all of them, I can say at a minimum, I definitely do not have Marfan's.
And that sharp abdominal pain that I get after eating too many nachos, it's probably not an ectopic pregnancy.
Number 6, we figured out the best ways to let our residents and attendings know that we were done for the day.
Dr. Kemp, I'm just wondering if there's anything else I can do for you.
Well, let me think. Hey, get back here. We have 5 more points to go.
All right, but we can make it quick. I've got a tea time to get to.
All right, number 5, we are a class of firsts and lasts. We had the first becoming a Dr. Weeks, the first group with lanes for our clerkships. We were the last to have honors for both first and second year of classes, and the first to have a completely engaged administration that not only listened, but actively responded to the needs of our class.
As the president of this class for 4 years, I had the privilege of seeing you, my amazing classmates, both push for improvement and weather the guinea pig status of new methods of medical education. I could not be prouder of all of our accomplishments and grateful for walking this journey with you.
Number 4, sleep is overrated.
Caffeine is not.
Number 3, there is no medication as potent as an 11 a.m. post-finals Sally's Long Island, hitting a stomach previously only filled by coffee and anxiety.
Yep, everyone in the Twin Cities, all the Twin Cities students know that the J-curve is real.
And I have it on good authority that Duluth, too, had a similar education about this from post-final recovery at the Flame on Fridays, or the Rex.
Number 2, we learned a surprising amount about the theory of relativity.
I don't remember that lecture. Are we getting tested on this?
No, well, at least I learned that 4 years can be done in a breeze. But 1 week of finals can also last at least 4 years. Number 1, and this is the one that's most important to me, our class is the absolute best because it has each of you in it.
We've laughed, we've cried, we've done both at the same time, kind of hysterically. We've celebrated completing finals weeks and boards and shelf exams.
I've been inspired by all of you constantly. I wrote many silly emails talking about the cairns we were leaving for those that follow, and I can honestly say I am beyond honored to be able to place that rock that my class has picked out to help guide future travelers on this journey.
I'm so happy that we all get to go be real people now in our chosen specialties, but so sad that everyone is scattering, and this is the last time we'll all be in the same room together, and the last time I may get to see some of you.
Outside of a 2 a.m. consult.
Well, when in doubt, refer back to number 4. Sleep is overrated, caffeine is not.
Congratulations to you all. all, this is an amazing accomplishment, and I am thrilled to share this day with all of you doctors.
Wow. Thank you both so much for that entertaining response. So, after our students have accepted their hoods and received their MD degrees from the Board of Regents, each year our students communally recite their oath. The honor of leading that oath reading goes to a faculty member from the School of Medicine. This year, we invite Dr. Samantha Pace, who was honored in 2018 as a faculty member inducted into the Gold Humanism Society. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. Pace for the honor of leading our newly hooded physicians in the reading of their oath.
Thank you, Dr. Englander. That was written here for me to say, but thank you anyways. I had some comments prepared, whatever. You've listened to a lot of people talk. I'm super proud of all of you, especially those who rotated their Hennepin on OB. There's still a chance to change. But yes, sleep is overrated, and some of you may have heard me say this before, but at 2 a.m. when you're feeling miserable and you think you've chosen the wrong thing and you just can't see the next day, you are underslept and you need to sleep. Your future life as a resident and eventually an attending will be demanding on you and your families, at times unforgiving and frustrating, but ultimately it can be consummately rewarding and personally fulfilling. I know you've heard about the compassion, gratitude, and patience that you're supposed to display to your colleagues and, of course, to your patients. But always remember to display it to yourself as well. These will be the keys to your personal and professional sustenance. Each year, the class votes to determine the oath they take at the commencement ceremony. This year, the class chose to recite the oath written by the incoming Twin Cities class at their white coat ceremony 4 years ago. Students, please stand. And I also invite any physicians in the audience or on stage to stand and recite the oath, which can be found on page 7 of the program. All right, are we ready? Please cite with me. Recognizing the honor and privilege of becoming a physician, I pledge to my community, patients, colleagues, loved ones, and self, I will serve with integrity, respect, and humility. I will empower my patients and their communities as an educator and advocate. I will engage with the complexity of health outside of the exam room, using my voice to promote equity and social justice. I will commit to a life of learning, striving for excellence, and admitting when I fall short. In the face of failures, I promise to practice self-compassion and to learn from my mistakes. I will not act alone, but will work collaboratively across disciplines, drawing upon the expanding wealth of knowledge to best provide for my patient. I will remember that there is both science and art to medicine. I will care for others holistically and with empathy. I will respect their dignity, privacy, and autonomy while treating them to the best of my ability. Above all, I will act in the best interest of my patient, preserving them from harm. Therefore, I will embark on this journey to advance health for all, standing firm upon the foundation of those who have served before me and those who have supported me. May I fill this vocation with gratitude and reverence. May I long experience the joy of healing. Congratulations to you all.
And you may be seated. Having received your hoods, shared in the communal reading of the oath, As our time together draws to a close, we wanted to leave you with a poem that captures the carpe diem spirit that you will need to succeed in the next critical phase of your journey to becoming master physicians. It's a poem by William Stafford called "You Reading This, Be Ready." Starting here, what do you want to remember? How sunlight creeps along a shining floor? What scent of wood hovers? What softened sound from outside fills the air? Will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect that you carry wherever you go right now? Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? When you turn around, starting here, lift this new glimpse that you found. Carry into evening all that you want from this day. This interval you spent reading or hearing this, keep it for life. What can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? Congratulations, class of 2019. You're now physicians, a title that you have worked really hard for and definitely deserve. Please, everybody, join me in one more round of applause for our spectacular graduates. I wanted to give a couple of final notes of thanks, and then I'm going to give some instructions for our recessional. But first, please join me in thanking the Health Sciences Orchestra and our maestro, Stephen Ramsey, for their beautiful music today. I'd also like you to join me in a special thanks to Rachel Rudine, whose year-long planning is the result of this extraordinary event today. Can we give a hand to Rachel? And then I think it really does take a village to make a doctor, so please thank the amazing team from Student Affairs who's helped them and everyone who works in undergraduate medical education across both of our wonderful campuses for making this day and indeed the past several years possible. I would ask any undergraduate medical education staff, whether you're up here or in the audience, to please stand now and allow the students to join me in thanking you for all your work. So you now have the permission to say to anybody who asks, you may call me doctor. We're about to recess out onto the mall, and the recession will begin with dignitaries on stage, and then the faculty on either side of the front of the audience, and then the graduates will file out. I'd like to ask the families and guests to please remain seated until the recession is ended, and then please join us outside to celebrate with the wonderful class of 19. Congratulations.
Let's do Brecken's March, please.